Hey, good morning. How are you? Today I want to show you all a new oven that I put in place. This is an induction oven made by Samsung, and it is a replacement to an older glass top oven that I had for the last 16 years in my house. I really like this oven because it is internet capable, or at least it'll link up to some of your smart devices like an Amazon device or a Google device. It also is very different in that it's an induction cooker, which means that it heats the pan itself, not the glass cooktop. So I can cook on iron or ferrous type metals and be very efficient at cooking, and I can control the heat really well. So these are the types of pots. This here is an enamel cast iron pot, and then this right here is an aluminum pot with a steel bottom, which is induction ready, which works really well. So I preserve these or use these for boiling water or something that's acidic, like tomato sauce. And then I use the iron skillets for mostly sauteing foods and cooking them. And the reason why over here I'm using this one for tomato sauce is that the acid in there is really not good for the iron. So anyways, that's a little bit about the cookware that I have. But this stove is a very high quality stove, and it really shows. Alexa, turn on the range light. Pretty cool. So anyways, some of the things in here is that this particular model comes with an air fryer, which is really nice, and it's very clean and very well made. So you notice that there's no seal on the door. It's on the inside here where it won't get dirty. It's a lot harder to get this messy than down here where there's something that spills. The other thing is that this oven comes with a little air fryer tray, which is really nice to use. And it's a convection oven. So in the back there you can see the fan. So induction, air fry, bake, everything you need. Alexa, turn off the range light. What's really nice is you can set this up to start out and cook for you. There's a little button here for smart control where you set that, and then you can turn on the range while you're in your house. Alexa, range on.
Okay, at what temperature?
200 degrees Celsius. There you go.
Setting range to 200 degrees Celsius for convection baking.
So very nice. As you can see, it's turned on for an hour, and I can set this up to cook, and I can walk around my house to see what is the temperature. Alexa, what is the temperature of the range?
It's at 80 degrees Celsius.
Alexa, turn off the range. Very nice. So if you noticed, there's a smart control here. If I press that button, I can no longer control the range using my smart devices, which is kind of an interesting safety feature in itself. What I really like here is the way that this induction cooker cooks. It's very quiet, unlike the portable induction cooker that I have. As you can hear, there's barely any noise, just a little bit of fan noise in the background. And what I'm doing here is just cooking some breakfast because it's early in the morning here. As you can see, I've got these little silicone mats that I put on top of my oven. And I'm a little bit more paranoid about scratching it, although I've never have in the past with glass cooktops and iron skillets. But I never want to be too careful. As you can see here, I actually have a silicone mat on the oven, and I'm cooking in this pan. This is something you could never do on a regular glass cooktop, but with this iron skillet, the heating is on the skillet itself and not on the silicone mat. So would I use this for high heat situations? Absolutely not. But I can use it for cooking something like this. That mat will not melt until it gets at a very, very high temperature, which I will not meet. So it's nice to be able to cook. You can increase the power on here. You can lower it really quickly. It responds. There's also a boost mode, which will just absolutely knock the socks off of whatever's inside of here. So if you're trying to boil some water, you can put a lot of wattage into one of these pans and boil water very rapidly. So far, since I've had this oven, I've done that once, and I made some gluten-free pasta, and that water came up to boil very quickly. I've also put a pressure cooker on this stove, and I noticed that that also responds very quickly. It comes up to boil very nicely, and if I want to stop the heat, it drops drastically as well. So in here I've got a little breakfast sausage that I'm cooking, and just makes hardly any noise. It cooks really well. Over here are some Crumpet Rings, which I'll use to put some egg inside of the this pan here. And then I'm also using things like this that are silicone based. I've got a silicone set of tongs here. These spoon holders are made out of silicone. Again, I'm just trying to preserve the top of the oven as much as possible. And I got a restaurant style type of spatula. So again, just putting it on top of here, which is really nice. The stove, not even hot to touch. I've got my fingers right next to the pan down here, as you can see, and I'm still not feeling anything, which is good. My food's cooking pretty quickly. You can hear it, which is really nice. So that's the oven in itself. I'll go around to the other side. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a vent here, which you can feel a little bit of air coming off of it. And this is just to cool the induction coils themselves. So this is a regular oven, very standard size. Nothing out of the ordinary about its size or the installation. The install was super easy. All I had to do was hook up my 220 cord that I had from the previous oven, 4 conductor plug, and I was good to go in a few minutes here. The other thing is this app. This oven comes with an app that allows you to look at what's going on in the oven. It'll let you know that it's operating properly. One of the things that's been really nice is I put something in the oven and I wasn't sure when I started cooking, and all I had to do is go into the app and look at when the door was open, and that gave me an idea of when I started cooking a meal. Pretty nice when you forget to set a timer. The app that comes with this oven, or the one that you can use with it, also has a lot of recipes that you can use, which is pretty nice. It's got a lot of options that are nice and available to you. What I'm showing you here right now is I'm just getting prepared to cook a sandwich here for breakfast. And what I'm doing is just got my eggs ready. I'm going to use these 2 crumpets to create a egg patty, and I've got a little sprayer by Mystify, which is really awesome. This is non-pressurized and it works really well. So I can turn this up if I want. Normally I cook this at a lower heat setting, but you can definitely increase the heat as you need to. The other thing I'd recommend is this silicone-based multiple size lid. which has a clear top here. This works really well for different types of pans, and it could be a pan, it could be a cauldron, anything that you really need that can cover it, multiple sizes. So it's enough to cover many of my pans. And these crumpet rings right here are great for eggs. They're kind of a real hard steel surface. There's got a little bit of a coating on them to keep things from sticking. But the nice thing is when you pour eggs in here, it doesn't come out the sides like some of the silicone rings that you might see. And it's not something that I would worry about getting overheated or, getting dirty. It's something I can put in the dishwasher and have no issues with it. I had one of these, was made out of aluminum, and it didn't work too well. It stuck. I used one of these made out of pure silicone, and every time I poured something in there, it would flex a little bit, and I'd have eggs spill out from underneath. So that was a nice thing that I found. I got this on Amazon. It was a little bit expensive. It was about $24 for two of the, or a set, 4. But it's worthwhile. We'll check on our food here. Look at that. Looks looking pretty nice. So what I'll do is I'll turn down the stove a little bit, get this thing prepared, and I'm gonna eat. Y'all can think about eating too. One of the things I found was real nice is just to spray this oil down in here. See that? It works really, really well. I'll set down the camera. And then I use this little silicone tongs just to wipe the inside real nicely like that. That way the egg won't stick to it. And then just pour that in here. So I pour it a little slowly just to get the bottom in there, get it nicely set. And this is a little bit of pepper and some nutritional yeast. I can't have dairy anymore, so I've been using that to give me like a cheese flavor. Cover is great. The cover keeps the food hot, uses less heat from the oven, and it makes those eggs set quicker. Now I have a technique that I use from time to time, which is to take a knife and just kind of pull the egg away from the edge here and allow more of the liquid to run down into the pan, just every now and then. And it makes it cook a little quicker and ensures that you're not burning the bottom of the egg. This is one of these things where less is more when it comes to heat. You definitely don't want to apply high heat to these eggs and let them cook slowly. These are absolutely wonderful. This set of tongs with the silicone pads allows you to lift those out of there without damaging them. There's a real light coating of what feels like a non-stick coating. I'm not really sure if that's what it is, but I don't want to scratch anything. Plus, these things are hot, so pulling it out of there is just really easy to lift up on it. One of the things that I do when these eggs are ready is I will lift up on the container that holds it, the crumpet ring, and I'll flip the egg over and cook the other side slightly once it's near being set. Flip this sausage over. And I love these silicone pads here. They definitely are nice. They can be washed in a dishwasher. Everything can be washed in the dishwasher except for the pan itself down here. Of course, all of you can do some research on that and come up with conclusions on your own. But you basically just wash this that iron skillet out with hot water and heat it up a little bit, re-oil it, and you're good to go. So these eggs are getting really close to being done. I'll set this lid aside. And just kind of make sure that this is pulled away from here. So it's not sticking at all. You know, the silicone rings that I had before used to stick quite a bit, even after spraying them. And I find that this metal surface is just doing a lot better. And it's also conducting heat up the sides of the eggs so they cook around the sides as well, which the other one didn't do too well. And these are the type of rings that I'm talking about that were made from silicone. And the problem is when it's sitting down in the pan, this little thing here that you use to lift it, if it moves slightly, the back end over here lifts up and the egg spills out this way. Obviously I have it on a lid just to show you, but I don't recommend these silicone things. Okay, we're getting close here. It's nice that you just push that inward to open it. We'll just slide the ring off of there. I can just set those rings on top of that silicone pad over there for the other pans. Again, a lot of nice things to protect the surface of your stove. We'll just take these eggs and flip them over. Try doing this on camera, it's always fun. There we go. Alright, I'm going to turn off the stove and let the pan cool, and as it's cooling it'll continue to heat the eggs. Just close that up. Have some grain-free bread ready to receive these eggs. Over the years, you've seen this same recipe made in different variations. Sometimes it was made on a gas stove. Other times it was made on my old electric stove that I had with a Tefal little pan, you know, 1 egg wonder. And then today, just using this iron skillet to set everything up and on this oven here. One of the things you'll note is when the oven is off, it'll show you that this is hot, so you're knowing not to touch it, at least the pan itself. The glass part will get warm from the pan being there after a while, but that's okay. So there's my breakfast that I'll eat in a little bit. I'll show you the stove one more time. There we go. Beautiful, isn't it? Pretty nice. One of the things I will show you is I'll remove the pan. This is a little bit warm to touch, but it's nothing out of the ordinary. I can hold it with my hand. I can feel a little bit of heat down there, so no problems there. I'll just continue to let this pan cool, and then I'll clean it later on. One of the things about what I told you about earlier is to make sure that if you're cooking something on really high heat, remove the silicone pad. It's probably not needed. Just make sure you don't move the iron skillet around too much, and you'll be in good shape there. If you're going to boil water, definitely remove these pads here if you're going at the highest level. If you're going to cook at a moderate heat level, but you're going to leave this pan in place for a long time, that's another time that I would remove the pad. You know, something like 30 minutes or so, because that temperature can continue to increase over time. So that's just something that one of the rules that I have is if I go above 5 on here, I remove the pad. If I'm going to be on here on this stove for a long time, I'll remove the pad. Again, it's just one of my rules to make sure that I don't exceed the heat level for that particular pad. So anyways, these are great. I got these online. I've got the Mystify online, and even these little pads and all of this stuff here I got online, except for this, of course. I got this a long time ago. So, yeah, pretty neat. I hope that you all have enjoyed this and received some good information. I highly recommend this stove. It really works well. I'm thoroughly enjoyed with it. I love the ability to be able to cook without heating up the rest of the oven. And this is almost like a gas range in terms of its response. And when I say almost like, I say that because it's far more efficient than a gas range, far more efficient than an electric burner. This puts a tremendous amount of heat onto the pan very efficiently. Its efficiency is probably the highest out of any type of cooking method when it comes to like pots and pans. All right, thank you very much. Have a great day.